Kyūyaku Megami Tensei was released in 1995 for SNES after Shin Megami Tensei Eve and just before Majin Tensei 2 Spiral Nemesis, both of which I have played and haven't made a video on. This video will be 2-part long because Kyūyaku Megami Tensei is basically a remake of Megami Tensei 1 and 2 from NES, and this video will be about the first one. I thought about making 2 games in one video, but knowing myself, I'm definitely going to forget what I play by the time I finish both games. So here I am, writing the script 2 days after I have finished playing the game. Now I did go to the game with low expectations since it is a remake of a very first game in this franchise, but turns out I had a really solid and decent experience playing the game, if I look back on it. Nothing new to say other than this game being super player unfriendly and encrypted and super hard to beat. And so because the game didn't introduce anything new, I will just mention stuff that are missing from its later installments and only go through stuff that are worth mentioning. The first thing that came into my mind is enemy radar. You won't know when you will encounter an enemy inside the dungeon, and it doesn't help as well since old Megami Tensei games are known to be pretty random encounter heavy. Devil Companion is not here of course, but it is not the problem in this game because you'll be recruiting and fusing a lot of devils anyway. Not to mention, the game is pretty linear to play if you know what you are doing. But too bad, you won't know what you will be doing 90% of the time since everything is just very cryptic. I don't think I will be able to play this game without a guide if I have to be completely honest. And by that I mean every Megaten game on the SNES. I will even go as far as to say that I was able to enjoy the game more because of the guide, which allowed me to play the game smoothly and with a good pacing. So highly recommended to use the game if you are trying out the game just like me as well. I beat the game around 15 hours and I think I did not overstay its welcome at all. And throughout that 15 hours, here's what I understood about the story. So the angels revolt against something and they fall from the sky and they want to take their glory days back somehow. Then as soon as I start the game tells me about a boy called Nakajima Akemi who have succeeded in making Devil Summoning program. I don't know the context behind why he made the program or knows how to make the program in the first place, but all I know is that he did, and now Roki and Seto came out from the computer and attacked him. And the one who saved him from the attack was a mysterious transfer student, Shirasagi Yumiko. And at that time, a fallen angel, Lucifer, was planning to rule the human world from hell. And then all of a sudden, a huge magic palace appeared in Asuka, which was directly on top of the tomb of Izanami, trapping her inside along with the palace. And so with the added bonus of saving Izanami, the 2 students will have to defeat Roki, Seto and Lucifer too. Now after this, the rest of the 15 hours is just me dungeon crawling. As per usual, there are spinning traps, damaging traps, one-way doors, pitfalls, teleporters, and dark rooms scattered throughout this palace. But one thing that stands out immediately to me is the mechanic where you can fly one of the town to 3 different locations which can serve as a base of operation for the player, a moving fortress if you will. The game also has a really cool looking 2D Metroidvania looking map to check as well, which I have never seen in other Megaten games. So I have heard this game is very grindy, but I am here as a living proof that that is not true, because I did not stop the game to grind a single time throughout my playthrough. Not to say that the grinding does not exist, but it is kind of hidden away from plain sight if you know what I'm saying. For example, because dungeons are just one giant maze with same walls and same floors no matter where you look at, you will definitely spend or waste a lot of time walking around the same place over and over again, or you will get lucky and find the right way. And if you kept fighting everything you see, you will gain enough levels, just enough, in order to progress the game without grinding somehow. Talking about resources, I kinda have to start managing my own resources when you are approaching the end of the mid-game, where most devil will take away tons of your resources and give you a tiny bit of EXP, Maga, or Magnetite in return. But by then, you might already have maxed out your Magnetite, so wasting away your precious MP on a horde of trash will net you nothing. At first, I thought I won't have enough Magnetite to walk around the dungeon with a full team of devil, but rest assured, because you will never have to worry about magnetite going empty if you fight everything you see in earnest and pick fights wisely. I say it, but escape rate is also pretty low in this game as well, so good luck out there. And that reminds me of the stats in this game, which I should have mentioned a bit more earlier into the video. So you got the usual vitality, strength, magic, speed, and leg. So for the protagonist, I went with the strength, vitality, and speed, and a few points in leg to boost crit, and also to wield Hinokaku Tsuji later in the game, which by the way is the strongest sword in this game, and you are going to need it if you want to beat Seto and Lucifer, or at least I needed it in my case. I try to spread my points to where they are needed by scaling with the monster I found in random encounters to get a rough sense of how I will fare against the upcoming boss fight. As in, I will put more points in speed if I cannot attack first or use healing magic ahead of the enemy, or if I think my characters are weak, I will just put more points in vitality. It is as simple as that. Next up is devil negotiation. There are no varieties whatsoever with devil negotiation in this game. Most negotiation will just comes down to you giving marker, and that will seize the D for the most part. Or if you are unsure, you can just click all the options and then give marker, and they will join you if you are equal to or more than their current level. Just keep in mind that you cannot recruit devils on full moon. Also, another unnecessary thing I found was the shop closing on the new moon phase. Like, why? I swear I will get mad if they bring it back in the Megami Tensei 2 again. Next, I want to talk about battle. You will only fight one type of devils in one battle, and sometimes multiple of them. But you do not have the right control over what devil you want to attack, and the game will just choose for you automatically. And so I end up wasting resources for no reason because of it. Also, even if your magic can multiple target, I think depending on your difference in magic stats between you and the enemy, it will not reach its full potential. For example, if the magic can target 3 devils, it might only target 1 or 2 sometimes, and the same can be said for revive magic success rate because it is also RNG based depending on how high or low your magic stat is. So it depends on your leg to a certain degree if I have to summarize. You will also find yourself dealing little to no damage at all to boss from the start to finish because the boss are pretty high in level, and I feel like you did damage not only based on stats but also in level difference as well. Because your stat cap at 35 points, you might have already maxed out one of your stats as early as the second boss. And on top of level and stats, you will also boost damage with equipment, which you will be upgrading your gears every time you find new town, or else you won't have an easy time in this game at all. And that's where marker comes into play, which is used as money in this game. You can gain some marker from battles, but it is better to just go gambling, which you can do in the second town. So marker is not a problem if you are lucky enough. If you are playing the game without a guide and going hardcore for some reason, you will have to talk to hidden NPCs scattered across hundreds of empty rooms across multiple floors in this dungeon to gain info to progress the game, or to find items you need in order to gain advantage on the bosses who are straight up unbeatable without those items, which are again all well hidden. As for me, I prepare everything I have said in this video before facing anything ahead, not just boss, and I still have to rely on luck at the end of the day, which is really underwhelming. Here are the only 2 scenarios you will find yourself in every boss battle. One is you get lucky and get multiple crits in and deal good damage and finish early. Or 2, where it's just going to be a war of attrition to see whose resource ran out first. But my advice is that having full team of devils to fight a boss is not necessary in this game because they do little to no damage to boss anyway, and the boss starts using AoE attacks around mid to late game, so trying to keep everybody alive starts to drain a lot more resource more than anything in battle, and it will become even more problematic when you also have to maintain resource mid-battle as well to use healing and attacking magic. Though I only realized this in my final boss fight where I only really need one really strong devil, Nakajima and Yumiko, to beat Lucifer. But outside of the boss battle, bringing a full team of devil along with you at all times is highly advised in order to save resources before the boss fight actually happens. Another advice is to use the defense mechanic to your own advantage from early to mid-game in boss fights, during which my Cerebus had to carry me with his high vitality point of 20 right from the get-go. I had that guy defend on the front line to defend at all times while I dish out damage with my other 6 members. I still kept using Cerebus until I got Chimera, who has a ton of HP starting from mid-game towards the end, which leads me to think defense mechanic might actually be a mandatory mechanic you need to use in order to progress the game, because I don't know how else I would have beaten Minotaur or Medusas otherwise. Which finally brings me to the last talking point of the game, I think, which is realizing how RNG heavy and cryptic mess of a game Megami Tensei 1 really is. I have to keep saying this because, as with many other retro games of this era, this game is indeed a linear connected one giant fetch quest that spans 15 hours of gameplay content. And that's the reason why I would be fine with the game not having other features except auto battling, and thank God this game had it right from the beginning of its franchise, or else I might have to play it for 60 hours, which would just be a straight up torturing experience, and I would definitely not enjoy it at all. And also remember that you cannot cancel auto for the rest of the battle if you click it, and I don't know why they did that as well. Also, NPCs are all lifeless, as in, everything they talk is about the game or will just hint us where the item is hidden or points me where to go next. But you got to do all of those side quest things as well to get some benefit in this sequence Megami Tensei 2, so I had to do all of it just in case. Better be prepared than get punished later inside the game. And now to wrap up the video, here's are my final thoughts. I think the game is difficult not because it has a deep mechanic and system, or that you get punished if you do not think and strategize deeply, but only because of its RNG elements which you have little to no control of. The game really did a good job of making you feel helpless in a way which is finally lore accurate with the inking stories and all that. But still, I can't wait to check if the sequel is always better than prequel theory still holds true with Megami Tensei 1 as well, because it was definitely true with Shin Megami Tensei 1 and Devil Survivor 1, so I'm looking forward to what this sequel has to offer. Also, to those who have watched a few of the Tsukuyomi video I have uploaded, I have dropped the series entirely because I found myself burned out from playing any roguelike game and got extremely fatigued looking at those AI generated PNGs, and I doubt I will be playing any roguelike games anymore in the future because how traumatic the game was for me. So just putting this out there in this video because I feel like I at least need to be honest with you, the viewers. But anyway, I don't think there is much to say about this game anymore, so I will be ending the video here. Thank you everyone who have watched the video till the end. Have a great day, and as always, I'm Nai, and hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye.